Welcome to the Metal Voice. And once again, Alan, here he is, the man.
Almost the guy that started it all for us on doing these types of interviews. And I can't believe it's back in 2010. It's already been 12 years. Wolf, it was one of the first guys.
You guys haven't aged a day.
Pardon?
You guys haven't aged a day since that beautiful day. Hello.
Yeah. No, but it's great to have you on. Always one of our favorite guests of all time, Wolf Hoffmann of Accept fame, here with us today.
Woohoo! Great to be here.
Too Mean to Die North American tour coming up 2022. You're just telling us about your European festivals. Maybe you want to tell everybody about that and then go into the US tour. Yeah.
So I'm currently in Europe, as we all have been here for the whole summer because it's summer festival season here in Europe, and we played more shows than I can remember ever playing. I mean, we usually do festivals, but only a few weeks here and there. But it's been almost 3 months for us now because I think there was all this pent up demand because of the COVID, pandemic. So this summer has been busier than ever for us. So we've got about 3 more shows to go. We've been in Finland and we're going to Denmark, we've gone to Brussels, we have been to Greece and Switzerland and Italy, everywhere basically. So it's been awesome. But as I was going to say, we're getting ready to do this US tour coming up soon. And that's what we should talk about, because that's going to be amazing.
Finally, the tour for Too Mean to Die. I mean, the album came out over a year ago. We interviewed in December of 2020. It seems like it was yesterday. And it's nice to see that finally this tour is going to happen here in North America and the US.
Yeah, finally. And it's actually the first full-blown US tour for Accept in a decade. I mean, it seems it's time. I don't know where the time went, to be honest. We made album after album, but we never quite had the time, or it never amounted to a full-blown US tour. But here it is, finally.
So that means that the tour you did with Creator, it didn't go to the States, or?
That was 10 years ago, I believe, wasn't it?
That was the last one.
That was the last one. I think that was 2012, maybe, or so. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it seems like maybe it was 5 years ago, but everything lately, when somebody asks me, well, this was just a few years ago, and you think, 2-3 years ago, and then you look it up and it was really 7 or 8 or 10 years ago. It's just, I don't know, time flies lately.
Wolf, we interviewed you a year and a half ago, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
And in the interview, I said something like, I'm 52. Actually, now I'm 54. See? That's 2 years of our lives. And you said you're 60.
Yeah.
Well, now you're probably 62, right? So this is the cliffhanger from the last interview. This was the cliffhanger. You ready for this? I asked you, or maybe Alan asked you, I don't know. Do you think it's a good idea to release Too Mean to Die during a pandemic? And you go, we'll see how it goes. Now that you can look back, we can finish this conversation 2 years later, a year and a half later. Do you think it was a good idea to release Too Mean to Die during a pandemic when there was no touring? Yeah. Okay. How did that go?
It went really, really well, I have to say. People loved the album, and I think that we're very grateful that we didn't hold back until times get back to normal. At least people could enjoy the album, and the fan reaction was fantastic. We sold really well, so things are going really well. Of course, nobody knows what it would have been like had we had the tour, but come on, we're going to do the tour now, and I think it's going to work out fine.
And one of the things that you mentioned in our last interview were like songs like Overnight Sensation. You thought that would sound really great live. Has the set list changed from what you're doing this coming September, the US tour, compared to what it would have been if you toured the moment it was released?
Probably not, no. But I can tell you that we incorporate a whole lot more songs than I had anticipated. Like even some of these festival shows that we did, we played like 5 new songs, and they all, great reaction from the fans. Because normally, a lot of times when we have a new album, we play 2 songs, sometimes 3. But there's so much good stuff on this album, so much good live songs that it's really fun to do. And people, I think are really appreciative.
So what's the set list going to look like? Okay, the tour starts September 29th in Nashville. That's where you're based, more or less, right? And it just goes even to Canada. It doesn't come to Montreal, but I think it goes to, am I wrong, Alan? Toronto?
The one and only Toronto is the date. And, you know, we are officially a heavy metal city here in Montreal, Wolf. We're a little disappointed you're not coming.
Sorry, guys. You snooze, you lose. I don't know how these things happen, man.
No, we get it. It's not your fault. But we like to blame you anyway.
Blame me. It's fine. Blame me. It's all my fault. I don't care. I'll take it gladly.
What's the set list going to look like? Come for this North American? Is it going to be different than the Europeans? Do they want to hear more of the classic back catalog?
Hell, I don't know yet. It's how do I know that? We'll make this stuff up.
You're in charge. You're in charge.
You don't know who does, right?
I do put the set list together every night. That I am. But actually, we do make stuff up sometimes last minute. I usually like to see what it was like the night before. I make a small adjustment, and we also like to mix it up sometimes more than we've ever done before. A lot of times in the past, we arrived at what seemed to be the perfect set list, and we kind of kept it as is. But lately, we all said, why don't we just mix it up a little, because it's also fun for us, and if somebody comes to the show more than once, and they get a slightly different one. So that's what we've been doing lately, and I think we'll probably do the same thing on this American run.
Okay.
So, but I think we're going to play. I mean, I can tell you, there's some songs we'll always play, like Princess of the Dawn, Fast as a Shark, Metal Heart, Balls to the Wall. But, all the other stuff, I think we'll probably play quite a few of the new album.
But Mark's been in the band for so long now, like we said, back to 2010. So do you ever envision a day where you can really focus on the material you've done with him compared to the older material?
We kind of already do that. I mean, we're approaching. I mean, it's pretty damn near 60% new stuff nowadays.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there will ever be a day when we don't play any of the old stuff, because I mean, come on, people grew up with that stuff, and it's our capital. I mean, we earned it. We wrote the stuff, and we this is who we are. So why not, honor it and play these songs?
You wouldn't get out of the venue alive if you didn't play some of those songs. So,
hey, tell you lately, we even threw in like "I'm a Rebel," which is a lot of fun.
You know what, Wolf? It's a great song. "I'm a Rebel." Have you ever heard the original AC/DC version of it?
I have. Yeah.
Is it Bon Scott singing on it?
Yeah, it is.
Because this is unreleased, right?
It's unreleased, and they probably will keep it in the archive or their vault or whatever forever. Because I tell you why. Because it was a demo. And apparently AC/DC did not like the song enough they didn't want to record it properly. They just, had the demo and said, nah, we're not going to do it or whatever. So that's how we ended up with the song. But, apparently, I guess they have no interest in releasing old demos of these.
What did you think of the demo anyways?
I thought it was fabulous. I thought it was much better than our version. Sorry. Because come on, it's Bon Scott, and AC/DC, and so
it was written by Alex Young originally, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And from when I was reading about it online, and you don't know what's true and what's not true online, right? They said that Bon Scott was doing the back vocals, but Alex Young was doing the vocals. Again, I don't know. I've never heard.
Not on the version that I remember. That was clearly Bon Scott.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a rough demo that they've done, I believe, in Hamburg at a demo studio. Or maybe not, but I know that the guy, Alex Young, he lived in Hamburg at the time, or at least he had a really close connection to our publisher. And that's how we ended up with the song, because they said, well, we've got these unreleased songs, and I think it would be great for you guys, and all this kind of stuff. And we actually met him, I remember, but oh my God, it's like 40-something years ago.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't really.
That's why I'm wearing the shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, just kind of tied in.
Wrong band.
Yeah. Black shirt, sorry. Nothing to.
Go ahead, Alan. Sorry. Did you want to say?
No, and this will be the first time. Is this the first time you're doing meet and greets as well?
Yeah, we've done I believe so. Mm-hmm.
So it's a huge package you're offering for this meet and greet. I mean, you're going to be
course.
signing stuff all night.
We've been signing, we're giving away stuff. We sign everything from baby butts to, poop. We'll see.
I mean,
only flesh. We only sign flesh on this tour. No, we have to sign albums too, whatever that people bring. You know.
But I mean, is it one of those meet and greets where you're sort of distancing yourself from everybody, or is it just, as normal?
I think we're going to use reasonable precautions, and I don't even know that we're going to be bothered with wearing. I mean, we'll see how bad it is and how we all feel. But I think we have to come to the conclusion that maybe this whole COVID thing will be part of life from now on. We all need to be reasonably cautious from now on, and at this point we've all had it, and it was mostly very mild for everybody. But hey, it's a thing, so we got to be aware of it.
Yeah, it's respectful. Yeah. What about a lot of bands today are doing, full albums on their set list, like All of Breaker or All of Too Mean to Die. What about celebrating anniversaries on the road? A lot of bands like that. Is that some sort of possibility in the future?
Not really. I'm not a huge fan of all these anniversary things because it always reeks a little bit of desperation. Hey, we don't have a new album. We've got nothing else to say. So we celebrate something that happened 40 years ago. Yeah, maybe if we've come to the point where we don't have a current album and it happens to be anniversary. But see, the other thing is something always happened. Every year something was 30, 25, 40 years ago. There's always something to anniversary. Have an anniversary about. So I don't want to really get caught up in that too much. And as far as like playing an album in entirety, we've done that once or twice, but an album is an album and it has a certain running order, and a show has a different running order to me. And it's not necessarily the best live show if you put together an album, play it back to back. I mean, that's my experience.
Different dynamics, right? That's what you're trying to say. Different dynamics,
and you kind of want to, I don't know. It just didn't work so well. Besides, an album is only 40 minutes, and then what are you going to do with the rest of the show? Then you play another album, or it's all these it doesn't really work that well for me. But that doesn't say we don't want to do it. Actually, we committed to be doing that in Japan, but that show was never happened. We were supposed to play the entirety of Metal Heart and Balls to the Wall in 2 different shows in Japan as a special thing, and we rehearsed for it, but then pandemic put a stop to it, and it never happened.
That's cool. A lot of rehearsal work right there.
Yeah, tell me about it. And I learned all these songs. I relearned all my own songs for nothing.
For nothing. You can play them this time around.
What about?
I already forgot them again. Sorry. I've got a short-term memory.
And being respectful, right? Like bands, the Germans are like the forefront of everything metal. Schenkerfest, Halloween Fest, but they called it Pumpkins United. Would there ever be? And again, I know this is a touchy subject, and I'm being respectful for this. Would there ever be like a fest, and we wouldn't call it except maybe a Balls to the Walls fest? You bring in all the old members, just one night,
Breaker Fest,
like Balls to the Walls fest.
Balls Fest. How about
Balls Fest. You know what I mean? Just something.
You're making a whole different crowd, Wolf.
Wolf. The Germans are the forefront of metal, and Schenker and Halloween. They all kind of got on board on this. I don't know. It's not as easy as it sounds. I get it.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, anything is possible, but at this point, no interest. No, thanks.
Got it. All right. Fair enough.
I learned to say never, because if you say and then one day you might look like a fool.
But if you ever do it, Balls to the Walls fest. I like that. Or
I like Balls Fest. Balls Fest. It's got a nasty ring to it.
You might get a different crowd though.
Ball Breakers.
Ball Breaker. There you go.
Or Restless and Wild Fest.
Yeah, Restless Fest. I don't know. Endless possibility.
Do you find that you're also at the forefront of classical mixed with metal, but there's some like symphonic and orchestrated metal has kind of been overdone now, and sort of like it's kind of like people are losing interest in that.
I agree. Well, we've done a fabulous tour 3 years ago, I think it was, with an orchestra, which I really enjoyed, but at the same time, I realized it's been done a lot, and that novelty has worn off. So if I ever did any sort of collaboration with orchestras or classical players and classical music and rock guitar, I think I'd be looking for a different format. The classic thing of like, here's a metal band and there's an orchestra. Ooh, isn't that exciting? I think that's sort of almost over in a way, don't you think? I mean, it's just because
it kind of died off a bit.
Times.
Yeah.
Well, it's still cool. I mean, but it's not, that in itself is not enough, I think, to be, anything new, or it's not as spectacular as it once was. I think that's why I would probably look for a slightly different format, something.
Yeah. You know,
'Cause
me
I
and
like
Alan,
playing classical stuff. I love playing with orchestra players, or the violin. Yeah, beautiful.
I can definitely see you just playing guitar with a whole orchestra behind you, never mind a full band.
Yeah, maybe that, or maybe some other players. I mean, I've all kinds of ideas lately. We'll see what ends up coming to realization.
Me and Alan have been fans of Sept since you you guys kind of hit the North American market, and been following you guys since, and that. I don't even have to tell you that. But a friend of mine asked me, what about the gang vocals? How did that start? How did that all begin?
I can tell you how that started. It's very simple. We wrote a bunch of songs. We started writing songs in the Restless and Wild and Breaker era in those days, and we had certain specific melodies in mind that were part of that song, and we always wrote the songs with either Peter or Stefan on vocals. Udo usually wasn't involved in the first phase at all, and then we had these melodies, but then when Udo started singing, they didn't quite work very often, so I started playing some of them on guitar, and they became part of the song structure where I have a certain melody, and then we started putting backing vocals on them as well, because they could sing the melody that we had in mind. But then our voices were kind of meh, if it's only 3 or 4. We were not great singers, but we discovered when we just layer them on top like 20 times, they sound pretty fucking massive. And we like that. And once you like something, you do it again, and then you do it again, and before you know it, it's become some sort of a trademark.
Yeah. So going back, I've got them all here. Look at this. We've got the Hit Parader, August 1994 here.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to throw out some stuff that Steven and Udo, some of their statements, and we're going to go back time, and you say how you feel today compared to those statements, okay?
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
They were talking about balls to the wall, in fact.
Yeah.
And Udo says, actually, this time it wasn't easy for us to get balls to the wall out in America. We had signed a management deal with Dieter Dirks over a year ago, and it was because of his connections that we were able to get a record contract in the States. With your recollection.
That is almost true, because we signed up with Dieter Dirks because he had international connections. And because he'd been working with the Scorpions for some years at that point, and they, of course, were the first band to break out of Germany, and that is correct. The only thing that's not correct, he was never our manager. He was our production company, so he made the albums. We made the albums for his company, and he sold them to American labels. Basically, that's how it worked. But
So and another thing too, one of the things I think Sept's known for, it's even in the press release here, other bands might need lots of pyro and lights, but Sept's power comes from the 3 guitars, the rhythm section, the powerful vocals. And going back to 84 again, here we go. Steven says, our stage shows also separate us from other bands. So many heavy metal bands are predictable on stage. I think there must be an equal balance between the music and the show. Otherwise, things can get boring. I mean, that's pretty consistent to what you're doing today. I would believe.
Yeah, I guess we always looked at the how can I say this? I mean, we were always wanting to convince people with the core of the music and the musicianship and the songwriting, and not so much with all the bullshit on the theatrics and the fireworks and the outrageous scandals and like snorting ants and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? That has always been a different
no
side.
Ant snorting.
No ant snorting.
No dragons.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, in this article as well, Steven pushes it. He said, we're not a heavy metal band. You know, people try to lump us in with Motorhead and Raven at that time, 84. And he said, you know, we're much more melodic than that. So what, you know, this goes back to a kind of a, and Udo added that, you know, we don't get into that Satan aspect that's very popular. A lot of heavy metal bands back then. But we had a little debate here with Todd Latore from Queens right there. What for you is the definition of heavy metal?
You know, that statement from Udo, I remember the times when heavy metal was first coined and people started calling us heavy metal. We were kind of not sure what to think of it. And it sounded almost like a negative thing, to be honest. Yeah. It's almost like oversimplifying, because the only bands that really said we are heavy metal that was maybe Motorhead and maybe surely Black Sabbath.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, probably. But you know, we saw ourselves more in the tradition of like, I don't know, Deep Purple and bands like that. That's those. I mean, matter of fact, we just played with Uriah Heep and Deep Purple, two of my bands that we all listened to back then, and we listened to a lot more melodic stuff. So when the heavy metal sounded oversimplified, and initially we thought, like, I don't know, man, are we heavy metal? But after a while we thought, well, I guess, yeah, we're quite heavy. And so I would say, looking back, we definitely were the heaviest band from Germany in those days, and the first heavy metal band to come from Germany. And by now, of course, we all take that title proudly, but initially we're a little bit reluctant.
No, I get it. It's like, here's this new label that they're putting on everybody, right? And no one knows what to think of it. Is it making fun of people, or is it actually a good definition? Back then, now, right? I remember,
back then it almost sounded like, I don't know. I mean, heavy metal had a sort of a negative ring to it.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard. Because now everybody's called, everything is heavy metal now, you know. And eventually people started Bon Jovi was heavy metal all of a sudden.
That's right.
You know,
we can't go there. We've had shows where we've said stuff like that and we got trashed on the internet.
Yeah.
Def Leppard's not heavy metal.
Oh, Def Leppard and all these bands. I know, and that's, you know.
The word heavy metal has evolved. It's changed over time, you know. I think that's what it is, you know.
It's so mainstream now. I mean, now, especially here in Europe, my God, everybody's listening to rock, and they go all to these metal festivals. Wacken, there's 70,000 people, 80,000 people, and it's all metal. Everything's metal now.
Yeah,
like you said, mainstream. You're hearing Ace of Spades on all kinds of different soundtracks, movie soundtracks, and commercials. Has anybody approached you for Balls to the Wall or any other?
Yeah, they have. Of course, they have, and it's been used here and there. But you know,
what is it used for? Tell me.
The Wrestler.
The Wrestler, for instance. Yeah, you got it.
The movie The Wrestler, you're saying. The movie The Wrestler. Yeah.
It's not really good for like commercials, I think. Because
have you ever been approached with a commercial? I don't know, maybe some sort of
Fast as a Shark.
Actually, they have used Fast as a Shark for some commercial, I believe, in Sweden. I forget, for something.
Vacuum cleaner.
No, I think it was some gardening stuff or something. Maybe the plants grow fast as a shark. I don't know what it was for, but I think it was used there. Yeah.
Alan, what else you got in your book there?
Oh no, I just want to bring up a point. Like you just said, you were watching Uriah Heep and Deep Purple. So heavy metal fans, are some of the most loyal. There's the proof. I mean, these bands go back almost 50 years. So, but also I think we're some of the most fickle fans. Blood of the Nations came out, like we said, in 2010, and everybody was ecstatic that Accept was back, and it was just, I mean, that album took off globally. And now you're X amount of albums down the road with Too Mean to Die, and you always get the band fans are like, oh, it sounds like Accept. It's always the same. Yeah, but the moment you change, that's where you lose your fans as well. So I mean, you moving forward, do you see anything? What's the secret to keeping this success going? Is it releasing albums like AC/DC did, maybe a little further apart, doing tours? Like you said, this is 10 years since your last tour, doing those tours a little farther apart to keep it fresh?
No, I think as long as you like what you're doing and you're consistent in quality, I think people will appreciate the albums and come to the shows. I don't think there's a secret ingredient in anything that we do. It's just, we try not to write shit songs, basically.
That's what it comes down to.
or deliver shit concerts. You know, we have a certain pride in what we do, and we like to put on good shows. And I think lately, especially, the band is on fire. I mean, we now have 3 guitar players in the band, which we should mention, which is something.
Yes. Iron Maiden, April Wine. There's, you know,
Molly Hatchet.
Molly.
It just started because we did this orchestra tour that I was mentioning earlier, and Uwe wasn't available for that tour, and we found this guy, Phil Schaus, in Nashville, because he was friends with our drummer, Christopher. Long story, blah, blah. And we really played this tour together so well that we thought, you know, why not have him when Uwe comes back as well? And so here we are, 3 guitar players. And I got to tell you, it's better than ever. I would have never thought it's that much fun. Wow. Because we can play all these, I mean, not all, but we can a bunch of overdub parts, and we can different voicings on guitars. And I think it sounds killer. Everybody in the band is excited about it, and the audience as well. So I can't wait to bring that package to the US.
And just to add to that, Jim, you know, this article concludes with Steven saying, "We're very hopeful that our relationship with America will be a long and happy one. In this band, we always try to take a positive attitude."
Oh, I thought you were going to say in that article, Wolf says, "I will never play with 3 guitarists."
But I mean, that goes into, you know, what is your expectations for this upcoming US tour, knowing that you've got this core audience of American followers that are diehard fans and will follow you anywhere?
I mean, I can't wait to actually go to all these different places that we haven't been to in so long, because we've done some US shows in the previous years. Of course, we've played here and there, but not like, you know, coast to coast and all these shows. So I can't wait to see fans that we haven't seen in years. And I know we're going to deliver killer shows, so I don't think that will be a problem. So.
On a last note, and to do with gelling of the band, right?
Yeah.
Is this gonna, you know, is this gonna be inspiring, or has it been inspiring to write another album? Because I think we asked you in the last interview, are you writing another album since you have all this time? Is gelling with the band, with 3 guitarists, is it just inspiring you to write more music and getting more stuff down? Are you working on anything?
It is very inspiring. And I tell you what else is inspiring, to be out on stage and to see the reaction of fans. Because when you ask me, was I creative during this pandemic time? No, I wasn't. I kind of fell into a slump. I'm totally honest, because I didn't know when life would resume, and I didn't know when the tour would actually happen that we had planned. And there were so many unknowns. And so I didn't feel inspired at all. But now that I'm back out on the road and we're on stage every night, I'm fired up, and I actually wrote a bunch of stuff already, sitting in hotel rooms and such. That's when I get creative. But when I'm just the fact that I have time alone, nah, not so much, you know, because I don't know. Time just flew by during this pandemic, and I wasn't really creative at all. I wish I would have been, but you can't force it, obviously.
No,
I think we all got a little down, and we always have to learn to relearn how to live. Almost, it's like we're coming out of our caves, you know.
Definitely. And that's the other thing. I mean, during that time, it was a little scary there at times, especially in the beginning when we didn't know how bad it was going to be. And all of a sudden you start to realize, well, man, you better live while you can, and better don't take anything for granted, and don't plan 20 years ahead, because you don't really know what's going to happen next. And so live while you can, and cherish every moment that we're alive and healthy, and when we can be on the road and do the things that we love. But, you know, you can't take anything for granted. So it was kind of an eye-opening time, wasn't it, for all of us?
Yeah. Any chance of capturing this live US tour for a DVD or a live album?
There's always a chance. There's always a chance.
No, it's about capturing the moment, right? You know,
absolutely. And we definitely audio record always, every show. So that's always good. It's easy nowadays. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of soundboard stuff from back in the day too? That's in the archives?
Well, not so much from back in the day, because like back in the day would have meant a mobile truck with 24 track and big tape machines and, you know, $20,000 a day kind of thing. But nowadays it's just a matter of having a laptop there and then good equipment on stage, and you can record everything for eternity. It's a lot easier nowadays. So we record much more now. Same with film, by the way. I mean, people film everything now with iPhones, and there's all this footage out there.
Yeah.
Looking back 30 years, 40 years ago, nobody was allowed to bring anything into a concert, not even a photo, let alone video. Nobody had a video camera. And if you had one, it was a big clunky thing, and you couldn't bring it into a concert. So there isn't any footage of it. And you should certainly know, or hardly any, pirate footage from anybody. It's a shame in a way.
There was a documentary in the works at one time or another, correct?
There was, but even that, we asked people to send in all the stuff that they might have had from all these early years, but it turns out there really wasn't much.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really sad because nowadays everything, every second gets filmed. Nowadays we come off stage and it's already on YouTube. It really is.
It's instantaneous.
With the different times.
So is it you guys aren't going to continue that documentary that you're planning years ago now? Now it's been years that you've been talking about it, right?
Yeah, I don't know where it stands. I need to check, but I think it came to a halt because there wasn't enough stuff that we could find to turn it into what. I mean, we've done some footage, but it was already released years ago, where we had some band footage, live footage, and stuff. Forget, Staying Alive, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Videos. There was a bunch of footage that we had recorded ourselves, but we wanted some fan footage, but there really isn't much fan footage.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing in a way, right? It's
None of this was going on.
Yeah, but people were sneaking in cameras. Don't be fooled. A lot of people were sneaking in, but again, there's not a lot of it, right?
No, there's not enough. No.
Yeah. All right, I think that's
My
it.
last question is,
go ahead.
It's your personal philosophy. You told us in our last interview, is the best yet to come.
Absolutely is the best yet to come.
Nothing's changed.
Absolutely.
Okay, because you said you got down a little bit. I just want to make sure nothing's changed. You're still positive.
I'm still the eternal positive person. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially now that things are back to normal. I didn't get down about life in general. I was just a little down as a musician because hell, if you can't do what you're here to do and you can't perform live, then it pulls the rug out from under you in a way. That's why I wasn't all fired up and ready to record a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I'm the eternal optimist still.
Good. All right. On that note, Wolf, it's always a pleasure.
All right, guys.
Always.
And we'll talk again. And good luck on the tour.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a great day.